Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that I learned this truth from. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all the hopeful elect. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. That means He exists, or He is to be. The name of the Son is Yahushai. That means He is the deliverer. We are the Hebrew Israelites. All right, there's 12 tribes of our nation. Today we're being called Black, Colored, Jamaican, Haitian, West Indian, Trinidadian, Native American, Seminole Indian, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Cuban, Dominican, Panamanian, Venezuelan. Okay, but we're, etc. We're those people that make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel. People from North, Central, South America. This is not about skin color. It's not a black thing. People are actually scattered all throughout the world. All right. Now, the self-proclaimed white man, so-called Caucasian, all right, European, etc. Their biblical nationality is Esau, Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir. And according to Bible prophecy, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Excuse me. All right, and this lesson is pretty much, these shall hate the whore. I may title that, or I may title that he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Because if you've been up on the news, Trump, Babylon the Great, what they did, they pretty much just ran down on Venezuela, okay, and took the oil, jacked them, but now the Greenland's next on their hit list, all right?
Take over Greenland, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. A large protest is underway in Copenhagen as Donald Trump continues to threaten to take over Greenland, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. This comes after Trump suggested on Friday that he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the US controlling the mineral-rich territory. A large protest is underway.
And there you go, a large protest is underway, all right, over there in Greenland, all right? And you can read the sign that says, "Make Babylon go away." So that's the sentiment, and you have to understand.
In Copenhagen.
You have to understand that these are Babylonian allies. These are allies with the whore, all right? And when you go to the Rev 17, and look at Rev 17, all right? It speaks about the beast, the whore that rises upon the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, right? And thousands gathered outside of the U.S. consulate. Okay, so something you might want to ask yourself if you don't know. AI overview. A U.S. consulate is an official office of the U.S. government in a foreign country. All right, so that's an official office of the U.S. over there in Greenland. All right. Operating as a branch of the embassy, focused on providing services to Babylonian citizens abroad, passports, emergency aid, and processing visas for foreigners wanted to visit the U.S., handling administrative tasks and promoting U.S. interests in a specific region. While the embassy is the main diplomatic mission in the capital, consulates are located in other major cities to offer localized support for citizens and visa applicants. Okay, so that's a consulate. So now let's see what an embassy is. The U.S. Embassy is the official headquarters for the U.S. diplomats and government representatives in a foreign country, serving as the primary point of contact between the two governments. Its main purpose is to represent U.S. interests, conduct diplomacy, and provide essential services and protection to U.S. citizens living or traveling abroad. Okay, and these are all over the world, which links up with the prophecies of the whore sitting upon many waters, which we're going to go into.
We're protesting against the orange dictator in the U.S.
The orange dictator. All right, the cruel Lord. That's what the KJV. That's what he's spoken about as in Isaiah 19. All right, that's what the Bible says. There's a cruel Lord. I will give the Egyptians over into the hand of a cruel Lord. Okay, and that doesn't just affect the Egyptians. That affects the allies of the Egyptians. We're seeing it now.
Who is trying to bully his way to undermine the sovereignty of the Greenlandic people and take away their right to decide who they want to be part of.
So this the prophecies, man. Jumping off the pages. All right. This is from End Time Headlines. NATO members warn tariff threat over Greenland risks a dangerous downward spiral. 1/18/2026. 8 nations targeted by the new White House tariffs have hit back at the cruel Lord, accusing the U.S. of undermining transatlantic relationships and risking a dangerous downward spiral. As members of NATO, we are committed to strengthening Arctic security as a shared transatlantic interest. Denmark, all right, I believe these are part of the 10, because when you read Revelation 17, it speaks about 7 heads and 10 horns. So you got Denmark. I don't think Finland's on there. Could be wrong. I don't have my list in front of me. Okay, but you have Denmark, you have France, you have Germany, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and the UK. I know they're all part of there. All right, part of the NATO and the EU, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Right. We will continue to stand united and coordinated in our response. Here, let's do this. Let's see if I can find it. Let's just see. There it goes. All praise to y'all, but I was shy. Okay, so if you look, you got you have 7 heads. Let's see if I could go back. All right, okay. All right. You have 7 heads. That's the whore, which is Babylon the Great, which is the West, the orange dictator, right? But then you look at the 10. Denmark is on there. All right. Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, West Germany. That's part of the 10. But then you have the 7, the Greeks, the British, Germania Minor, the Spanish, the French, the Romans, Germania Major. All right. So let's go back, read this again. NATO members warn tariff threat over Greenland. Risk dangerous downward spiral. Yeah, this is going to lead to them hating their whore. All right. Which they're already tired of her shit. It says, it says Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and the UK said in a joint statement published on Sunday, we will continue to stand united and coordinated in our response. Trump announced on Saturday that Washington would slap these nations, all right, traditionally some of Babylon's closest allies, with a fresh 10% tariff from February 1st. So you know what this means, right? This means, these Egyptians, they ain't going to be able to go nowhere. They're going to be hated, right? He then threatened the same countries with a hike to a 25% duty on June 1st and said the measures would apply until such time as a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland. All right? So that's a bully, man. Right? The administration has insisted it needs to control Greenland, a semi-autonomous part of fellow NATO member Denmark, for its own national security, its extensive planned missile defense program, and to better protect the alliance. But onlookers say the White House's increasingly aggressive stance toward the strategic, mostly ice-covered Arctic territory slots into its hunt for natural resources and stronger influence in the West. Most worryingly for the rest of NATO, Trump officials have stubbornly refused to rule out using military force to take Greenland, although the administration has kept some form of financial deal on the table. An armed attack on the country will violate international law and likely mean the disintegration of NATO. So, hey, call Loyam La, Yahaba Shem Yahushai. It's from Infowars 118. A former NATO chief cannot promise U.S. will remain in bloc. Okay, so let's see what is bloc. A combination of countries, parties, or groups sharing a common purpose. All right, let's do this. A bloc is a group of countries with shared political economic goals, and today the EU, European Union, and US act as a major distinct blocs, with the EU recently signing a major trade deal with South Babylon's Mer-Cosur bloc as a counter to US trade policies, emphasizing fair trade versus tariffs. Historically, the Western Bloc included the US, EU, and allies against the Soviet-led Eastern Bloc during the Cold War. But now the EU is the world's largest trading bloc, while the US is a massive single-country trader using tariffs, highlighting different approaches to global trade. All right, so there you go. Former NATO chief says, former NATO chief cannot promise U.S. will remain in bloc. So that's them hating the whore. Jens Stoltenberg has urged Europeans to take threats from the White House seriously. Former NATO Chief General Jens Stoltenberg has said he cannot promise that the U.S. will remain in the bloc. In a recent interview with Der Spiegel, he added that European countries must take Washington seriously when it says it wants to take over Greenland. All right, U.S. President, the orange dictator, has recently renewed his push to annex the mineral-rich Arctic island and has refused to rule out withdrawing the U.S. from NATO if the bloc opposes his ambitions, escalating tensions with European allies and calling into question the future unity of the organization. Stoltenberg welcomed the European response, pointing to joint statements from the Nordic countries, Germany, and other European states back in Copenhagen, and reaffirming that Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. He added that respecting the sovereignty of NATO allies is essential. We must engage with the U.S., which also means speaking up when we disagree, the former NATO chief said. Denmark insists that the island is not for sale and that its future must be decided by its residents, who voted in 2008 to retain their autonomy within the Danish realm, which includes the right to regulate mining. Trump claims that only U.S. sovereignty can protect the island from being taken over by China or Russia, an allegation dismissed by both countries. He warned on Friday that he could impose tariffs on U.S. trading partners that refused to support his push to acquire Greenland. After meetings in Washington last week, Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen acknowledged a fundamental disagreement, but said he hoped a newly established bilateral working group would help resolve the issue. France has warned Washington that any attempt to seize Greenland will be crossing the line and threaten economic ties with the EU, the Financial Times reported this week. Denmark has teamed up with France, Germany, Sweden, Norway, and the UK to send small contingents of troops to the island ahead of the bloc's Arctic endurance exercises later this week. All right, so yeah, shit is going down. All right, this is also from End Time Headlines. All right, and bear with me, we're gonna get some scriptures. All right, we're just tying it all together. All right, it says thousands in Denmark protests. All right, the Ernst dictators demand for Greenland. Thousands across Denmark and Greenland has defiantly protested, all right, controversial demand for the Arctic island to be ceded to the U.S., asserting its right to self-determination. All right, so there you go, man. All right, and then you got Trump warns the European countries will be charged a 10% tariff for opposing U.S. control of Greenland. So you got the back and forth between allies. You got protests. These are all signs of the end. This is 2nd Esdras 91. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. So that's what the men of the Lord are doing. Watching the news, looking up articles, reading, studying, praying, fasting, fellowshipping, breaking bread, going out to the highways and hedges. All right? And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I've told thee before, right? Because as it says in the Habakkuk, the vision is yet for an appointed time. Then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So we're in a time where the Lord is about to pay a visit to this place. All right, and what's gonna come along with that? Plagues, right? 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, which we're seeing earthquakes all over the world on the daily, major earthquakes too, and uproars of the people in the world. There's uproars in Denmark right now. Inside Babylon, all right, you should know there's uproars in Minneapolis. All right, there's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot to talk about. Check this out. NYC socialists prepared mass mobilization of 4,000 anti-ICE army, and this is in New York City. All right, so it's going to be a nationwide thing. All right, and it's going to transpire to a whole worldwide thing. The entire world is getting tired of Esau. They're getting tired of the horse shit, right? 2nd Esdras, it says in Proverbs 29, when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. This is why they're protesting. They're mourning. Because they know what's going to happen when the U.S. get their ass in there. Their food going to be GMO. You know, a lot of these allies of Babylon, they don't have GMO food, things of that nature. You know, but that's what will happen if the U.S. gets control of it, you know. 2nd Esdras 9 and 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things, and they also know the real reason behind this is to strip the land of their natural minerals and resources, right? Greenland holds vast, largely untapped mineral wealth, including world-leading reserves of rare earth elements essential for modern tech, alongside major deposits of graphite, lithium, copper, zinc, and uranium, plus gold, iron, titanium, and platinum group metals. These resources are critical for batteries, electronics, and green energy, but remain difficult to extract due to environmental challenges, harsh conditions, and local political factors like uranium mining bans. Okay, so we know what Esau is about, man. He's the top gangster on the planet, right? Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and the end is manifest, meaning it's made known. Verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder, and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So these are signs of the end. All right, and one of the major signs is going to be the allies of the Horde Hatener, World War III, the mark of the beast, the hour of temptation, the second coming of Yahushua, which we're in the time of Jacob's trouble, right? And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and that's the elect. That's what we're striving to be a part of, right? And shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning, right? This is 2nd Esdras 9, Good News Translation. He answered, consider all these things very carefully. When you have seen that some of the signs I've told you about have appeared, you will know that the time has come when the Most High will bring judgment on the world he has created, like us going into slavery. All right, you shall go into Egypt again with ships. All right, up until the Great Awakening, Ezekiel 37. You know, the time of Abba Bivens, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, their elders. the Great Commission. So the word is going out. We're in a time of the end now. So a lot of prophecies have passed. We're only waiting for a few major prophecies. All right. We're in the Jacob's trouble. Shortly follow that persecution, the hour of temptation, the mark of the beast. All right. The third woe and the second coming and the deliverance of the elect. Right. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, and that's what you got. So you got a nationwide rebellion, which is sedition. You have national rebellions. Greenland, they're rebelling against their ally. So they're taxing their own allies. All right, international intrigues. So let's look up what is an international intrigue. It's an AI overview. International intrigues refer to secret, underhanded plots, schemes, or conspiracies involving different countries or their agents, often for political gain. Why does Trump want Greenland? Why does the West want Greenland? Political gain, power, or to undermine adversaries, involving deception, manipulation, and hidden alliances to achieve clandestine goals on a global scale. It's the practice of espionage, covert operations, and complex diplomatic maneuvering outside official channels, much like palace intrigue, but on a world scale, sometimes involving illicit affairs as well. And this happening nationwide inside the West, and it's happening on a worldwide level. Hell, over there in Iran, they're deleting protesters, and Trump is urging the people to protest, and they're also threatening Persia that if you hurt the protesters, we're going to step in. So we're definitely in a time of international intrigues, nation against nation, right? National rebellion, unstable leaders. That's what the cruel are, and confused rulers, right? When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what the Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. All right, it was prophecies. These prophecies were written down thousands of years ago. All right, but going back to Habakkuk, at the end it shall speak and not lie. The beginning and the end of everything that happens in the world are clear. The same is true in the world above. Wonders and miracles show the beginning of events, and mighty signs show when they end. Some people will escape destruction and be saved by their good works or by their faith. That's the elect. All of them will survive the dangers I have described. That's the time of Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, nuclear destruction, the persecution, all of that. Famine, all right? And I will enjoy the salvation provided in the land that I have set them apart from eternity as my own. This thing is predestinated, right? This is Revelation 7, right? It's 17, excuse me, this is Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So now this whore sitting upon many waters is her. It links up with Habakkuk. Is her not keeping at home. It's her having these different bases, consulates, embassies, and foreign nations, countries going into other nations, countries sending economic hitmen. All right. Yep, this is from 4 days ago. All right. Trump warns Iran of very strong action if protesters killed. So that's the pride of the whore. She got her hand, her business, her nose, and other people's business, and it literally sit upon many waters, right? With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, right? And these other nations that have committed fornication, they have made deals, they've got in bed, they've been in league with the whore. But now they're starting to regret that. How the allies are starting to regret it. All right. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And that goes into her philosophy. That goes into the democracy, the religion, idolatry, homosexuality, lies, adultery, covetous, murder, right? So he carried me away into the spirit, into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-covered beast, full of the name of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And that goes back right here, right, to learn by the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, because nobody else is teaching this, and the rest of the brothers out there. See, a lot of Israelite camps, they're cringe. They're not even prophesying. They're making rap videos and shit. They're trying to sell you things, or they're just making videos talking about everything else but prophecy. You go into the 7 heads, Germania Major, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, Germania Minor, the British, the Greeks. You go into the 10 horns, Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, West Germany. The 10 horns represent the Common Market or European Economic Community, established in 1958. Today, the EEC is known as the European Union. All right? All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. This is on point. This is directly on point. Right? 4, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. Her being arrayed in purple is that royalty. All right? Being put in the position of royalty. All right? Where it says in Isaiah, thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. And scarlet color goes into red, or sin, or blood, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication, transgenderism, transhumanism, homosexuality, blaspheming against the Most High, persecuting the people of the Most High. 5, and upon her forehead was his name written, Mystery Babylon, the great mother of harlots, an abomination of the earth. 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and that's, that's pretty much, the whore, or, making war against the saints, killing them, all right? And that's been happening since Esau got his ass over. He's been slaughtering the saints. The saints are the Israelites, right? I believe that's Psalms 148. Let me see. Oh, there you go. This is Psalms 148 and 13. Let them praise the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, for his name alone is excellent. His glory is above earth and heaven. He also exalted the horn of his people, going into what? The power, right? The praise of all his saints. So the saints, his saints are his people, even of the children of Israel. So the saints are the Israelites, his people. So when you read Revelation 17:6, that's who he's talking about. All right? The blood of the Israelites, his people, his children. A people near unto him, praise ye the Lord. All right? So let's go back. It's another reason why the Most High is going to destroy this whore. Right? Rev 17:6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Meaning what? Persecuted the people of the Most High. Slaughtered them, put them in slavery. And with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. All right? Because the future prophecy says, I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for not worshiping the beast and receiving his mark. Roughly paraphrasing. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Because John actually saw a woman that looked beautiful. Right? 7. An angel said unto me, wherefore did thou marvel? I will show thee the mystery of the whore and of the beast that carried her, which had the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Goes into what? The beast that had the deadly wound that was healed. It's pretty much the ancient Roman Empire coming back. Right? Let's check this out. So if you look at a map of ancient Rome, right? You got Gaul, right? You got Britain. You got New Lydia, Cyrene, Macedonia, Thrace, Galatia, Armenia, Mesopotamia, Judea, Palestine, Egypt. Okay? This is a map of the ancient Roman Empire. Right? So now, map of NATO and EU. All right? The beast that had a deadly wound, it was healed. Right? Rev 17, it says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, right? And go into perdition. Perdition is destruction. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. That links with Rev 13, all right? Who was able to make war, with the beast, When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is, that's the West. Now here's the mind which had wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, governments, kingdoms, on which the woman sitteth. 10. And there are 5 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Speaking about what? Britain. 11. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. That's Babylon the Great. And it's of the 7. America came out of Britain and goeth into perdition. The Most High have reserved this place for nuclear destruction. 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So they made a league, all right, that they will receive power for a season with the beast. Right? 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. 14. Yeah, Space Force. All right? 14. These shall make war with the Lamb. Why does Esau has a Space Force? And I found it strange how this was invented right before the whole 2020 thing, right? In December 2019, specifically on December 2019, the U.S. Space Force was officially established as the 6th branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, created by the cruel Lord, signing the National Defense Authorization Act into law, marking the first new branch in 73 years, focuses on securing U.S. interests in space, right? That's for the war in heaven, right? That's what it's talking about, Rev 17 and 14. These shall make war with the Lamb. The Lamb is Yahweh, and the Lamb shall overcome them, right? For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And Lord willing, we'll be a part of that. 15, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitude and nations and tongues. Yep. Just a quick Google search. The U.S. maintains around 270 to 280 diplomatic posts worldwide, including approximately 160, 170 embassies and numerous consulates, with the exact number fluctuating slightly due to closings or openings. Representing a large global network to support U.S. interests, through China technically has more embassies. These posts, including embassies, consulates, and missions to international organizations, serve to protect Babylonian citizens, promote trade, and manage diplomatic relations in various countries. So let's go back. That's what it's talking about, man. It's Rev 17 and verse 16, and Rev 17 and 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitude and nations and tongues. So real quick, let's go to Habakkuk 2. All right. And 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. That's the spirit of Esau. He's been lifted up. All right, the pride of thy heart had deceived thee. Through his blessing, his swords, his military might. Things of that nature. His the knowledge that the Most High gave him, weaponry that has lifted him up. Right? Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Right? This is not a man who believes in the Most High. Right? But the just shall live by his faith. That's the elect. 5. Yet also because he transgressed by wine. That's the same thing the whore did. All right? That's the same thing John the Revelator saw. Right? He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Why is he going in Venezuela, Greenland? All right? Because when you go back to the blessing that Isaac gave Esau, was to live by the sword, who enlargeth his desire as hell, which goes into the grave, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. He has everything. He's not satisfied. What he really desires is the birthright back, and to have total control over the people, which is why he wants to put a rice device inside of them. But gathered unto him all nations, and heaped unto him all people. I'm going to see what the G&T says. Habakkuk 2 and 5 G&T. It says, wealth is deceitful. Greedy people are proud and restless like death itself. They're never satisfied. That's the elites. That is why they conquer nation after nation for themselves. Verse 6. The conquered people will taunt their conquerors and show scorn for them. They will say, you take what isn't yours, but you're doomed. How long will you go on getting rich? By forcing debtors to pay up. But before you know it, you that have conquered others will be in debt yourselves. You'll be forced to pay interest. Enemies will come and make you tremble. They will plunder you. And that's why it says in Rev 18, render unto her double according to her works. Right? So Esau, you're going to pay for what you did unto the Israelites, man. You're going to pay with 1,000 years of hardcore captivity, and then you're going to be wiped out. Right? Rev 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's exactly what we're witnessing. All praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? And Denmark is part of the 10. And Greenland is a part of Denmark. So Denmark is not just okay with them coming in there taking their shit. Right? Rev 17 to 17. For the Most High had put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai be fulfilled. 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Right? So with that, I'm going to end it. I pray this has been edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the hopeful elect.